Welcome into the Cam and Strick Podcast, episode number 71.
Oh, man. The leaves are changing, Andy.
Not yet.
No. They are.
I don't see
No.
any change.
I'm so sick of summer. I'm fucking done with it. I'm done with this summer. It's so goofy. It's fucked up.
Watch your language, dude.
Somebody in the car? Kids in the car? That's
Don't
on
say-
you.
Don't say goofy, dude.
It's goofy. I want the leaves to change. I'm in a place now where I enjoy the change of season so much.
Mm-hmm.
When I played, Andy, I swear to God, and you probably could, because your work picked up once the hockey season started.
Hell yeah.
So we go into hockey season. I'm not thinking of Halloween. I'm not thinking of Thanksgiving where now I want to host like family.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm thinking of like, oh fuck, I'm going to Lou. I gotta be disciplined. I gotta fight. I gotta bring like fuck. I'm not thinking of anything else. But now when you're retired, Andy, I'm like, let's put Halloween decorations
I'm
up,
with
baby.
you. Oh,
Let's
yeah,
start
man.
some fires.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm all about the fires. And plus, man, I lived up in the mountains for 5 years.
Fucking best.
And, you know, when you got the aspen trees and they're changing
Oh,
colors.
man,
dude,
it puts you in a
there
good mood.
is nothing better. It's the best time of the year to be in the
In
mountains. Everyone thinks, winter and snow because of skiing and whatever. Summer and fall, dude, best time to be up in the mountains.
Well, we're not in the mountains. I don't know why you bring the mountains
Well, you're
up.
looking out the
no,
window.
No.
You
We're
act
in
like-
fuck. No.
You
We're in
said
St. Louis.
You said the leaves are changing.
Are we in
all
Colorado?
All I see are green leaves outside of us.
There's one right there that's changing.
I
Damn
don't-
it! I don't see much. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, he said the leaves are changing.
I don't see much.
Look at this.
It's almost there.
You act like we're looking at like gold
You're talking
and
about
red
the
leaves.
mountains. I can't afford the mountains. Okay. All right, but yeah. So anyway, man, I don't know. Just something that popped in my head. Like it's nice to enjoy the seasons now without all that shit on your. You got to fucking go interview Chris Pronger, who's bullshitting you. Not anymore. Now we're just like chilling, baby.
No, I know. It's going to be different. It's going to be different.
Yeah. I know.
And now that like COVID's like running through like youth hockey programs and stuff like that.
You know what I was thinking
dude.
about doing?
What?
Oh, you're right.
Oh
know what
my
I was thinking
God.
about doing?
Yeah.
I was thinking about putting my Halloween decorations up, then taking
Already?
them down. No, listen to me. Then putting Thanksgiving up, putting them down, and then putting my Christmas decorations up, putting them down, and then my New Year's up and say, "Fuck you, 2020. The season's over.
Just get it over with.
The season's over."
What's all the talk about the vaccine? Like, do they have a vaccine?
Hey, why are you? Do I look like a doctor
don't
to you?
know.
Do I look like Dr. Fauci to you? Where's he been, by the way? He's been hiding.
Who did we call Dr. Fauci a few weeks
Somebody
ago?
small and
Who was it?
I don't know.
Somebody was acting like he had all the information.
It wasn't a
Oh,
guest. Oh no! Well, then don't
we
bring
don't
it
wanna
up.
say who that
Don't
was.
bring it up.
But a lot of people seem to have the answers. But that's the story on the street, man. That's breaking news.
You brought the kids part up, right? So that is going down.
It is.
So all these kids, and that's why I don't even want you fucking going on out of town anymore. You worry.
I don't do
you
the road
worry, but
trips.
you focus on the task in hand, and that's the Cam and Strick Podcast. Okay, your coaching days are over. You're done with it. COVID's out the wall, fucking zoo.
Ty's coming up.
Ty is you need to focus on Ty, and fucking hockey training, and Ty and hockey training and shit like that. No, never mind the AAA guys anymore. You did your shit, dude.
Do my edge work, by the way.
All right.
I've been working on doing like a little bit of rollerblading, putting some hockeytraining.com on my
There it is.
on my earpods,
And go rollerblade.
and I do my own workouts.
You don't even need ice. All these guys like, we need ice time. I can't take. I need my. No, you don't. Get rollerblades. Even if my dad didn't even know how to stand up on skates, but he put his fucking rollerblades on. He came out there.
You know, watching
and
you skate,
he-
I'm shocked to hear that.
Oh, I mean, I probably stayed in the league for like 8 more years because I was able to skate. But okay, good chirp. Great chirp by you. My hands suck, but my skating ability was there. Fuck you. My dad, though, would go downstairs and stand there and go, "Do, do, do, do," and then pass me pucks. And then go rollerblade together. You don't need
He
need
would
ice.
rollerblade with you?
He'd rollerblade with me. I swear to God. Fucking fall on his
Hey,
hands.
for the people out there, listen. Cam to this day will go put his rollerblades
Damn
on,
right.
and he will stick handle through
Yes,
a
the
park.
biscuit puck. Look, all you all.
You're the only
I'm-
player
no,
I
no, no.
know that played in the show that will do that on their own.
Listen to me. I had
Okay.
guys come out and skate with me when I was training. I'd be like, let's go take 2 big laps. There's 3 miles. And we stick handle. We sauce pass back and forth. Guys with fucking cars would almost hit us, and that's fine. And then guys with the bikes, the bike people that cruise around the park would flip us off and like, fuck you. But we'd sauce pass those biscuit pucks back and forth to each other.
With
For
who?
Derek, my cousins, Phil McRae, Patty Maroon, Brandon Bullig, all the guys I train with, we do that and skate and just do long strides like Scotty fucking Niedermeyer,
Who are
baby.
you doing?
Wah, 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 wah.
Who are you doing this with?
I just told you.
No, last week.
Oh, Kate.
Okay.
Kate skates. My wife skates on rollerblades. And I'm like, listen, girl, I love you. You're a beautiful angel. You're an angel compared to me. I want you to have a helmet on. I want you to wear hockey gloves. I want you to have a stick so you can balance yourself.
You wear a helmet.
I want you to get the knee pads that are right next to the bed that you leave there. I want you to wear. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. She doesn't listen to this anyway. I want you to put equipment on because that motherfucking 8-count that's going to fucking toe pick your ass.
Oh my God.
And you're going to fall. And then she's going to skin up her beautiful body. I don't want that, Andy. The poor girl. It's tough for girls to rollerblade in a situation like that because there's shit everywhere.
How's your dad's passing?
Terrible. I figured it out. Passing my fucking skates. What do? I kick off my stick like bop, 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 bop. Top shelf.
Did you see the story about Thatcher Demko?
Yeah.
It's not true.
Not true.
No.
I didn't even believe it.
We dug deep. You did believe it.
No, I didn't.
You kind of did.
I said it on my radio show, but I fucked up.
And I said right away, this can't be true.
I fucked up.
$45,000?
That's what I said. I read it on my radio show. The text line blew up, and I'm like,
They would have fined him like a first-round pick.
First-round pick.
Could you imagine a team doing that? And you and I always wondered, like, would a team do it? Has a team snuck in a girl and not gotten caught? Has that happened? But could you imagine the NHL doing everything they've done to get to this point, all of a sudden...
And they fuck up.
All of a sudden, they sneak in a stripper, as the story suggested. Fake news, by the way.
Fake news.
Didn't happen. But all of a sudden, people started getting COVID inside the bubble, and they had to shut it down.
Wow.
And you
all
get
this
far.
hard work, all these zero testing, because Patrick Demko wanted to get
How about Thatcher?
Whatever.
Patrick Demko.
Patrick Dempsey is what I was trying to think of. He thinks he's Patrick Dempsey.
You like the name Thatcher, by the way?
Thatcher Demko, sick tough. I love that name.
San Diego, by the way.
But he's from San Diego.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I know.
He's used to some fucking dime, paces, craves. But if he fucked this whole situation up to get his fucking rocks off, here's my advice. Don't have sex with him.
But he's a young kid, though.
Jerk off.
So it would have been the veteran guys who would
have him like text you and send you pictures and beat your dick off. Beat your dick off. What are you going to do with them? You going to bring him over and you're going to bang him in front of all your...
Yes. Thatcher Demko?
Beat your dick off. Yes. Saves you money. You're not getting anybody pregnant. And then once you're done, you're like, oh, thank Christ.
He went to Boston College.
Good for him.
You know, he's seen some... He's been all over the place.
See some what? Ryan Whitney's up there?
I don't know. Joseph Woll, I believe, was his goaltending partner. St. Louis kid, would be a future Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
The Toronto media gets a little crazy about this whole situation with
2-7?
Pietrangelo. Like, settle down. Like,
relax.
Let's get to free agency. They are so crazy. But you know what? Let me just say this, because Jake Allen obviously gets traded yesterday to Montreal. And I think it's kind of cool for him. You know, he played junior hockey in Montreal. Anytime a kid can put that jersey on, play in that environment, all the history there, I think it's really cool. He's got 1 year left on his contract. You know what I could see happening? I wouldn't be shocked, because everyone's like, oh, my God, $14.5 million tied up in Jake Allen and Carey Price.
Yeah.
They could flip Jake Allen
easily
at the draft. They could flip him. All these goaltenders, talking to somebody today, going through a list of goalies, all these guys who might retire at the end of the year, okay? Lundqvist, Anderson, Jimmy Howard. There's like 8 or 9 guys who could end up retiring at the end of the season. Tuukka Rask, you don't know what the future is going to be for him. Is he going to walk away? Never know. So that's like 8 or 9 guys that could retire. Teams could need a goaltender. And, you know, $14 million plus for a team that has been struggling.
Well, look at Halak, too, man. Like, he kind of hid for a little bit, and all of a sudden he has some trying to put his team on his shoulders in a weird situation.
But he is what he is, though.
No, I'm saying, like, goalies regurgitate throughout the league like coaches do, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do.
They play for a long time.
You do. They do. Hey, listen, goaltending is the most unpredictable position in all of sport, I believe. You never know. I mean, guys are great 1 year, they struggle the next year, then they're great. I mean, there's only a handful of guys that have the ability to be great year after year after year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not everybody can do it. That's what separates the great goaltenders from pretty much everybody else. Like we said, all these guys are capable of getting hot. Thatcher Demko, who knows? He may go on to have a great career. You never know. You know, Carter Hart, for all we know, he could be terrible next year for the Philadelphia Flyers. I mean, he's got so much potential. I don't think he will be, and you expect him to have a great long career. But man, goaltending,
he could be like
can't predict it.
One and done. Jimmy Carey. Remember Jim Carey?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
he was huge with a name.
He won the Vezina, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah.
He had like the I don't know. It was Dumb and Dumber helmet.
He had the name Jim Carey.
Jim Carey.
At the height of like
that
Jim
sucks.
Carey.
Actually, that kind of sucks. I want my own name.
Really? You wouldn't like that?
Nah, I want my own thing.
Have you ever met another Cam Jansen?
No, just a redheaded chick that's on the fucking storybooks that they write for years, right?
What's
Remember
her
I
name?
showed you that? Her name's Cam Jansen. The mystery of Cam Jansen. And she's a little redheaded girl that like finds mysteries in like schools and
It's
stuff.
a girl?
Yeah, it's a little girl.
With red
People
hair?
send me that shit all the fucking time.
That's
like, look, that's you.
amazing.
I'm like, yeah, it is.
That's amazing.
It's cute.
But I wish I would have brought that list of goalies because I'm forgetting about a couple of other guys, man. I mean, some big time names. I mentioned Jimmy Howard, Rask, Frederick Anderson, Henrik Lundqvist. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 more that could retire. So you never know, man. Hopefully for Jake Allen's sake, he and Carey Price.
Dude, he's going to play for another
together.
10 years, man.
No,
he's
I'm just
fine.
saying. No, hopefully he stays in Montreal. I'm saying.
Or maybe not. Why the hell would you want to play in Montreal? Like, why don't you go somewhere
it's
that
the
you can be
closest
quiet?
team to his hometown.
It's the most. And you here? Okay,
You
fine.
hear what I said?
The closest team to his hometown. I get that. It's hardcore, but if you're a backup, I think it's the easiest thing because everybody, all the pressure's on Carey Price, and he's going to fuck up, and you're going to go in there and you're going to stay on your head, and everybody loves you. He's making a ton of money. So if it does work out there, it's going to be a lot easier as a backup to a guy like Carey Price in a big city like
Do you
Montreal.
remember just running Carey Price?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my favorite plays. I mean, it's hard to
It's
believe
such a
that one of
skilled
my
play.
favorite plays
It
in
was
the
such a
history of the
skilled
league involves you.
Like, never
That-
mind Datsuk fucking turning guys in. That's your favorite play.
What were you thinking?
What the fuck is he doing?
And nobody came after you except Price.
No, Price, I knocked the wind out of me. Or that beautiful
did it?
man. I would have.
Did you swallow your tongue?
Oh, I hit him so hard and I landed right on my fucking stern. I'm like, blah, yeah. And I'm like, ugh, and then he catches it and he grabs me by my chin. I'm like, blah.
At the Bell Center.
Look at my
That's got to be a
face.
highlight of your career.
Oh, I love
more than the
asshole.
6 goals you scored.
No,
I mean,
I
honestly.
had some, yeah,
No, you
probably.
had some great hits, but it's Carey Price.
It's not the most.
Hall of
It's not the
Famer.
biggest hit I have on YouTube for the most views. If that's what you're trying
What's
to
the
say.
biggest hit?
Oh, Belak. I don't know.
No,
some
that
fights.
Well,
and
yeah,
stuff.
probably.
Some fights.
Toronto, Montreal,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But whatever. He
That's
got
why
my
you,
way.
That's why you did it. You knew you were in Toronto.
But
you
he
knew you were
knocked
in
the
Montreal.
wind, he knocked the wind out of me, and I traded Georgie Larocque. Apparently, that's what he said. Although that story didn't really hold
He
up
was
that
in the
well.
press box.
He was in the press box. Like, well, Cam's going to do this without you. It didn't really make sense because, well, I would have done it if he was on the ice. I didn't even mean to do anything anyway. I'm just going after the fucking puck. I got 3 shifts. Let me go after that. Is it the puck? The black thing?
Yeah.
That's a puck, right?
Yeah. You didn't touch
Well, it was
it.
in the corner. I'm like, I'm
You
supposed
didn't
to go
touch
get
it very often.
No, I didn't.
Anybody ever crossed the line with you, a coach you had, being critical of your game?
Nah.
No?
Not at all. Coaches were good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Never.
just making sure.
Never a coach took advantage of, like, go get him. Go do that. Go take it. Nothing. Never. They'd be like, hey, chill. You're good. Relax. Hey, you're fine. No, you're good. Never, man. Now, some coaches were easier to, social butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
So some coaches were easier to, acknowledge and, like, kind of go up to, like, Robbie Fatorik and stuff. Pete DeBoer, sometimes. But he never, go get him. None of that fucking shit. Nobody fucking treated me like shit. So Lou scared the shit out of me, but that's it.
For the first time in the bubble, dude, we're starting to see teams with their backs against the wall
Yeah, man.
find a way to come back and win. Now, these are teams that are highly motivated. Teams like Colorado, highly motivated. They've got Stanley Cup aspirations, goaltending issues, obviously. But some of these teams, Philadelphia won again. I mean, hey, they're finding a way to extend series, something we didn't see in the first round. What does that mean to you? Are they adjusting to bubble life or what?
Yeah, I think they're like, we've gone this far. Let's fucking win now. I think they're just like, yeah, I kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're halfway there. Let's figure. There's more and more attention.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the light's on you more. So if you're a player, you're like, okay, there's no fans, but fuck, right when I get off the ice, I look at my phone. Holy shit, do we have a lot of support? Or fuck, you go home to the hotel, what are you doing? You're having a couple beers, you're eating some good food, you're playing some cards, and you're watching yourself score fucking cool-ass goals, hitting a guy, this and that, and you're like, okay, and you're getting all this attention now. Even more, it's double now, triple now. Now you're like, fuck it, let's go. Let's go. We're halfway there.
In the case of Pietrangelo, I know we just brought him up a few minutes ago, but I know the Blues moved Jake Allen. The obvious thing to say is they're creating space for Petro. And listen, Doug Armstrong, he very well may be. But at the end of the day, he's creating space for somebody.
Somebody,
I mean,
maybe two
whether
people.
it's now, whether it's at the draft, whether
Yeah.
it's at the trade deadline next season.
What do you think he's just sitting around?
I know, man.
Get out of here.
Listen, is it a risky deal in your opinion? I mean, for Petro, 30, 31 years of age, 8-year deal, would you do that? Would you sign him? The money is what it is, right?
It depends on so many different factors. Depends on what kind of money I could create. Depends on maybe if there's another deal that I could create. I don't know. I'm not that far ahead, man. Those guys are years ahead of us. And maybe not you, but me, and I just don't know what they have in play. And if you don't have much in play, then you might have to do it if you can get the money together. But
I've said this about Doug Armstrong.
But if they don't, I'm not that.
He is so prepared. He's always a step ahead. I mean, he truly is one of the best GMs in the league. You look at the even the trade for Jake Allen. I mean, for a lot of people, it seems like a relatively innocent deal. You know, you're just creating some cap space. But to get out in front and get the deal done now, I mean, what if you wait till November, Cam, to try to make this trade? How do we know what the world is going to look like?
There it is.
When the season is going to start?
Small market
What
team.
if an owner tells teams or tells their GMs, hey, man, you can't
budget.
spend any more money. Yep. Freeze the roster.
Yeah.
We don't know when the season is going to start.
That's
why
money.
you do it now.
No shit.
You know?
You got to take advantage of the moment. Look, you're a small market team, bruh. You already lost money. Ton of money. Like, you can't. These guys, you have to have a game plan, okay? Okay, you can't be Cam Jansen at 22 years old making, $550 and buying boats and taking your buddies out in fucking limos every night.
I hooked you up with the limo. You know that limo?
Oh my God.
I hooked you up with them. I used to have a radio show where I would bring a different player out to the sporting goods store in St. Louis. I mean, every player.
What, you took me in a limo to go sign autographs for you.
Hold on. You come do the show. I mean, Oshie would come, like, just pack the house. I'd have to have a police escort to get him in and out of there. It was just crazy. But every owner, every GM, every coach, over like a 10-year period, every player came out there, dude. Everybody. You name them, they came out. Owners, whatever.
I used that Jed limousine, though,
so
for a long time.
It wasn't Jed. But I think his name may have been Jed, though, or something like that.
I think it was.
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. So
I gave him a lot of money.
So anyway, the guy who would, I just called him up and said, hey, would you pick up my guests and bring them to the show, then take them home? And I'm like, they're blues players. He's like, dude, I'm in. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he's like, becomes close friends with Cam Jansen. He's like your personal chauffeur.
I know.
He's driving you around all over town.
I know. I would have him, and I'd have so many people on it that it would spark. The bottom would spark the road, and then we pull over, and I'd have to get out and then get another one from fucking Jed just to bring the people back to my house.
I don't want to say who it is, but one guy, I mean, very well-known name. He drank so much, man. He got in the limo coming to the show.
I know.
And he was so hammered to do the show and just had the best time. We could have done the show for another 3-4 hours. He would have stayed there and talked. But I always felt like, listen, man, if I'm going to have these guys come out, you got to treat them like rock stars. I used to give everybody a free watch.
That's what they do. I go to Jersey and do autograph. They'll fly me out and they'll pick me up and they'll take me to it. And then Kate and I usually go together and we'll stay the night. Probably spend all the money they give me, but still, it's like a little free vacation. Get in a limo, take me back to the airport. Like, that's what you do.
That's what
you
do.
Am I getting an Uber? No, you take care of me if I'm going to come out here and do this.
That's
and
what
sign
you do.
900 autographs of Devils fans and stuff, and they do. But man, I spent.
Yeah. All right, Brian Burke on this edition of the Cam and Strick Podcast. Was he not made for television?
He's made for a lot of things. That guy. We got a funny clip that we're going to put out, a little highlight clip of him too. Brody made for us. It's pretty funny. Just like quotes.
Like some of the quotes.
Berkey quotes.
It didn't work out for him in Toronto, but you could just tell he loved being the king of hockey.
He had a press conference for himself
every day, and he didn't wear the tie. I didn't ask
care.
him about that here in the conversation because I've asked him in the past, whatever, But you could talk to him for 3-4 hours. He tried to put a time limit on us, and then all of a sudden,
he liked it, man.
And then we're on the show. He's like, "Oh, I got plenty of time."
I know.
He loved it.
Yeah, he was great.
He is, man.
He's very knowledgeable. He has an answer for everything.
I hate to make this it's like a lazy question, but would you like to see Sportsnet use him like they did Don Cherry?
Yes,
Could you see him become the face of hockey like that?
Yes. He's opinionated enough. He does his homework.
Willing to say it too.
He's willing to say it. He doesn't sugarcoat fucking bullshit. He doesn't virtue signal. He doesn't do any of that shit. He's not going to go with the flow. He's just going to go with what he fucking feels like, and I like that. Not what's everybody else doing? Oh, yay, I'm going to go with no, that I hate that.
Which a lot of guys do.
No, they all do it, dude. Most not all of them. A lot of them do. So let me look at what's trending. Oh, that's my opinion. Yay. Yeah. I don't like it. I can see the difference.
Yeah, so he'll be good. Speaking of GMs, Bill Zito, the new general manager in Florida, from what I understand, that was Chris Drury's job.
Oh, yeah?
And, it was reported that he pulled himself out. There's a story that goes along with that. We're going to try to find that out, find out what that story is. But Bill Zito, a lot of people don't know who he is. Longtime agent out of Chicago. Used to live in Chicago before he started working for Columbus. So he developed a relationship with Joel Quenneville, and I believe, from what I'm being told, that Dale Talon may have helped him get this job, even though Dale Talon was just fired by the Florida Panthers. But apparently he's still tight with ownership and helped out Bill Zito in getting that job. So best of luck to Bill Zito and the Florida Panthers. You mentioned 4 seasons real quick. Could you live in a state like Florida that doesn't give you 4 seasons?
Not Central Florida. I don't want to walk my dog and have my dog's head get chopped off by a fucking gator. But I would live on the Gulf, I think, and maybe more protected from hurricanes. Although that's probably not fucking true, because they could come right up the fucking Gulf. Just ask Hurricane Katrina.
I'm talking Fort Lauderdale. The area. Sunrise.
Damn right, I could live on the beach. I could live in the mountains. I could live in the country. I could live in the Midwest. I could live in the East Coast. I've done it all. I could live in fucking England too. I just need a nice setup, and I want a beautiful lawn, and I want my motherfucking boat, and I want my dually truck from fucking Bellman. Now that you know what a dually is, Andy, you're such a fucking cake eater. You're such a cake eater. You are.
What's
a
cake eater?
Like a fancy lad. I don't know what dually trucks are because I have Range Rovers. Fuck me. You know what a dually truck is?
I would never drive one of those. Those are ugly as shit.
Dude, they carry shit.
For what?
A boat.
Get a Yukon. Or a Suburban.
Well, he's from Ladue, isn't he?
Well, get a Suburban.
He's from Jamie. I'm talking to him. I have to look at my producer right now. I got to look at he is such a fancy, cake-eating fancy lad.
Cake-eating.
From the poor part of Ladue, let's be honest. Not even the wealthy part of fucking Ladue. Take your Suburban and haul a fucking boat. Are you you're the biggest hillbilly ever.
Why? You couldn't do that?
No.
Escalade?
It needs to be a truck.
Get an Escalade from Bellman?
If you want a 20-foot boat, yeah. I'm talking about a 38-footer, dude.
You got to have a truck with like 10 wheels?
Yeah, a dually. That's not 10.
What are you going to do? Like go to the grocery store in your dually?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same size as my truck I have right now.
Driving
Fuck,
a dually?
are you out of touch?
Driving a dually?
Go back to the poor part of Ladue.
Dude, I'll put a boat on an Escalade.
And have fun with that.
Call it a
Who's
day.
going to drive it for you? You're going to rent some cuck? You get cuckolded by the fucking driver.
Rent a what?
Oh, jeez. You rent a pontoon boat on the smallest lake in the league, and you have a driver. I fucked that up for you. I shouldn't chirp.
I can't believe you told me to do that, by the way.
So stupid. What a waste
and
of
then people try to chirp me.
$500.
Is that the boat you chose? I'm like, Cam told me to get a pontoon.
No, pontoons are fine. No. Pontoons are fine. But not with a driver. You could drive a pontoon. Your fucking Ty could have drove that for you.
You don't even know how to drive it. Your driving skills on a boat. No wonder that shit got totaled, too,
I was
by
going
the
70
way.
miles. It was in a flood, dumb shit.
It makes me scared.
It was in a flood. I was in Nottingham fucking...
getting seasick watching the video.
And I wouldn't invite you anyway.
You're going
You'd be
all
fucking
over the place.
Scared. I'd invite Ty. Ty'll hang out with me.
Oh, he'd love it. He'd love it.
Bag you up anyway.
All right, so Brian Burke on this edition of the Cam and Strick Podcast. Obviously, people are going to love Burke.
Yeah.
Get into a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah,
Try to make the interviews a little bit different. Like, he does a lot of interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
You can't ask the same questions
I know.
as everybody else. But we try to make it
Sometimes I get nervous
as
with
fun
a
as
guy like that
possible.
because he's so smart.
Oh, were you nervous on this one?
Well, I just didn't want to
Remember
ask
how scared you used to get?
Yeah, I know.
Early in the...
yeah, thank you, I know.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, I know.
Well, this is number 71.
No, when I got
still
Mike
do.
McDonald, when I got Mike McDonald on, and I haven't slept in 4 fucking days, and Kate hasn't talked to me in 3 of them. So yeah, I wasn't on my game then.
There's
Jesus
been other
fucking
ones where you
Christ.
just... Lou Lamiorello.
Yeah, you fucked it up from the beginning.
You were so nervous.
Oh, I hated it.
I thought you were going to cry when you asked Lou what kind of player you were, and he did not want to answer that.
No, I fucked up. We actually talked to Berkey about that, didn't we?
We did.
I'm like, Berkey, I fucked that up. He's like,
Berkey sounds like a good player.
Well, Berkey likes himself, too. Let's be honest here.
More than you like you, or no?
I think I'm a little bit more self-deprecating than Berkey, let's be honest here. Like, seriously.
He's made a lot of money, though, Berkey.
He made a lot more than I am.
I'm sure they're paying him pretty well right now on
yeah.
Sportsnet. But
He
this is
fucking shits
he's got
money.
a book out, too, by the way.
I know. Let's hook him up on that.
I got to promote that because we didn't do that during the podcast. And this would be a book that maybe you would even... I'll see if they have it on tape for you, Cam. And if you can listen to it when you're in your dually driving down the highway.
With my fucking $100,000 boat. Yeah, chirp me for that. Oh, look at that loser with a badass dually with a badass boat with a hot chick. What a nerd.
So if you want to get the Berkey's book, it's called Burke's Law, A Life in Hockey.
Ooh.
That's a good title.
Burke's Law. That's sick.
Burke's Law, A Life in Hockey. I would read this. Go to indigo.ca. CA is the Canadian version of com. Okay.
Andy, I know, dude.
Okay.
I just got a bill for doing a fucking Vancouver radio. It's
Really?
like $500, but go ahead.
You better build that. Indigo.ca for pre-order. It's going to be released October 13th. So all the best, man. People go out there and support Brian Burke's
Smart
book.
guy. Great guy.
And check out Burke's Law, A Life in Hockey. You know we're going to be reading that here on the Cam and Strick
Somebody's going to read it for me
Podcast.
right now.
All right. You want some protection? You want to make sure you do it the right way? What do we need?
Car Shield. Hey, if you want to get a job to work there, too, by the way, they're like the best of the best. You're not going to be creeped out in some weirdo fucking company that's like, your boss is weird. Like, this is like the easiest place to work for, too. So I want to throw that. Not to mention if you're started on work or if you have a dually truck and one of the tires is fucked up, you just call them. It's the easiest goddamn thing in the world, and you could pick where you're going. I'll take this over, Andy. I don't even need you. I'm the one that fucks up in my truck, and I got to call them, and they just hook me up like no other.
What's the promo code?
Cam.
Embarrassing.
What do you want it to be? Is Andy really?
800-857-2481. Hey, somebody sent us this, by the way. Okay, here's the ultimate.
I should read this.
Well, you don't know how to. Can you read this?
Well, I do on my radio show every day.
Head down to Bellman, pick up that Jeep or Escalade you've been wanting, then head down to Gadget Lab or Gadget Buyback or Gadget Lab.
Why don't you start over? Or do you want me to try it? You fucked the whole
head
thing
down
up.
to Bellman and pick up that Jeep or Escalade you've been wanting, then head to Gadget Buyback and trade in your old phone or fix your broken-ass screen. Then use that phone to call Car Shield to back up your new vehicle from Bellman. And then go pick up Bud Light Seltzer and grab some
Mango,
baby, and drive home to get going and watch some hockey training videos from hockeytraining.com on your new or fixed phone from Gadget Buyback.
That's a pretty good. Somebody sent that to us on Twitter.
Okay, that's pretty good. Man.
That's how you like. If you want this thing you want this podcast to keep going and have like all these guys on, unique guys that tell stories about eating 50 painkillers a day and this, that, and the other.
People love the Hollywood stories, man.
If you want, we got plenty more coming. Trust me.
Yes, we do.
If you keep I know that's kind of goofy and funny what he just said there, but you gotta help us out with the sponsors too if you can. Like Car Shield, just try them out. Like look it up, try them out. Bellman, if you're in St. Louis, like go talk to these guys. They're not fucking creepy. They're not creepy. Your wife can go in there. Remember what I say about the swinging fuck dicks that come out swinging their dick around and hit on your fucking wife like a bunch of weirdos. They all look the same. They all suck. That's not the case.
Could I send Laurie there by herself?
In Bellman?
Yes. Yeah, by herself.
Go down Manchester Road and Cinder. She'll be fucking gonzo for weeks.
I was checking out the new inventory and the pre-owned inventory yesterday. Gonna hook up that Escalade. Ain't no dually for me, dude.
Well, you're not gonna have a boat.
I have a
good
boat.
for you. Oh, you're gonna have a canoe. I have a canoe right now. I shouldn't beak that much. I gotta get my tan on this week, and I'm taking that fucking canoe.
If you had the option to go in the Merrimack River or the Gulf of Mexico, where are you going?
Well, the Merrimack River's 3 minutes from my house, so I'm going
and
there.
You would pick that.
Well, 3 minutes from my house.
My
dad takes me upriver and drops Kate and I off.
Dad takes you.
Andy is such a fucking... Stop. I don't give a fuck. Andy's such a stupid-ass city boy. My dad takes the canoe in the back of my truck, and we go up 7 miles upriver. Then he drops us off with the coolers and our party favors. Then Kate and I get in the water, and we just chill, and we listen to music. And my dad takes my truck and goes down to where we fucking end up, and then he drives us back.
Your party favors.
Yeah, big time. We're partying this weekend because we worked our ass off all week. 50 fucking podcasts. I'm partying.
Although we got to work on Labor Day.
Yeah, we got.
By the way,
that's Kevin Steve. Should I say it?
Kevin
Stevens,
yeah. We can say who we got coming on. It's all good. All right, gadgetbuyback.com, 877-772-8880. You got a cracked phone, broken screen. Make sure you get that fixed. Don't be hanging out with a broken screen. What happens to that, Cam?
You're a Hoosier.
Okay.
That's it. No one's taking you seriously.
Nobody knows what Hoosier is unless you're in
You're
St.
a fucking hillbilly. Like, you don't know what that is? Look it up. Well, look for a guy with a cracked phone, and he's probably got, like, fucking, I don't know, his clothes suck, like, he's not wheeling anything. He's probably not getting a job because you got a cracked phone, like a Hoosier.
Okay. Hockeytraining.com, dude.
You're what?
Hockey was canceled last night.
Yeah, it sucks.
Which kind of sucks.
Fucking COVID.
Because I wanted to show off the Kucherov that I've been working on.
See, let me explain something to the parents out there, and I'm dead serious on this. If your kid can't get the fucking puck out of his zone, he doesn't know how to, like, shimmy shake a guy in the corner. Listen to me. He doesn't know how to stop on a dime, get in front of lanes. He doesn't know how to do this shit. But he's fucking working on the Kucherov or the fucking Svechnikov, and he can't get the motherfucking puck out of his zone. You're going from like 0 to 60 without going through the rest of it. Figure out how to get in the fucking puck out of zone. Figure out his first 3 strides. Figure out how to stop on a dime.
Wrist
curls. Get that fucking puck up. Be able to fucking shoot the puck like a man instead of doing this Svechnikov that doesn't work anyway.
But, dude, they've got amazing. I mean, edge
But when
work.
you're really good, you could start
Yes.
that. Okay.
Hockeytraining.com. Check this out, though. Men's leaguers, they've got a whole program set up for you.
Please take a look at it, men's leaguers. I don't know what else to say to you about this. Again, you know who you are. You know who you are. When you walk in that locker room and everybody's like, oh, yay. Oh, he showed up. Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, he takes 4-minute fucking shifts and he can't turn on his left side. And he's a great guy. He might buy beer afterwards, but buy the beer and don't fucking play. Actually, I'll pay more money for you not to play. Don't be that guy. All you honestly have to do is work on 2 or 3 little things and simplify your game, and the guys will love to have you out. That's it. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at somebody right now. I'm
not that guy. Dude, I've improved.
You're getting a little better
since I've been using hockeytraining.com. I'm evidence,
I'm hard
dude.
on you.
I'm the poster child. Dude.
I'm hard on you, but I also pump your tires up.
I'm the poster child for hockeytraining.com,
you are a child.
dude. Because I'm just improving each and every
Your
week.
shot's like a child, I'll tell you that.
Beat him from like right inside the blue line, bar down. The
when
goalie.
When was that?
Bill, you said, Cam's like supporting me from the bench. You're like, that's how you shoot. That's how you shoot.
It didn't go right. Wait, what?
Yeah, Bill Miller. He said it went right past his ear.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, we're fucking 100,000 miles an hour. Chara. Get outta
Chara's
here.
coming back, by the way, for another year.
I heard that.
Yeah, so congratulations. Hockey wouldn't be the same without Zdeno Chara. I hope he plays.
He
till
does.
he's 60,
He does. Hockeytraining.com.
Oh, for sure. And he eats right and takes care of his body, man. So he does a great job. Again, hockeytraining.com. You can also, they've got a program to get yourself faster in like just a couple of weeks.
Did you take those notes down?
No, I'm taking those too. Dude.
Holy macaroni.
So you watch a couple of different, do some exercises, whatever, and increase your first 3 strides.
That's what it is, dude. I told
your
you.
acceleration,
Yes,
get
man.
that burst, man.
Get ahead of the guy. Get ahead of the D-man.
Yes.
Get ahead of a guy on a back check.
So I know we kind of joke around, but if you want to be a good hockey player, just make sure you check out hockeytraining.com. It's inexpensive. These guys know what they're doing. They've been doing it for a long time. Do a hell of a job as well. All right, Bud Light Seltzer, baby.
Gosh dang it, baby.
Black cherry, strawberry,
grapefruit.
I think you've tried. I think you've tried all 4 flavors.
Oh my god, I got
today.
5 cans in front of me right now. I got grapefruit.
See
I got
Cam's stash versus mine.
I got cranberry. There's all kinds of new flavors actually.
Cranberry. I don't see. Do you have that?
Motherfucker.
Oh
Does
my
that
god,
say
we
cranberry?
have all new flavors.
So anyway,
this is amazing.
But I like the mango. The mango. That's my favorite.
Why
I'm
do you
going
like
down
mango?
because I like to sit on a dock with my lovely wife.
Is it the color of the?
Just listen to me, baby.
can?
Let me set it up. I sit on. There's a little bit of a breeze now. It's September. You see the sunlight hit off the lake water, and it's kind of sparkles right at you.
The leaves are changing.
They're kind of flowing through the wind, and you kick your feet up next to your lovely wife, listen to heavy metal, and you just crack that mango open, and you're just like, yes, this is life. Mango, baby. Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, all these different flavors. Less than a gram of sugar, so it's actually kind of healthy.
Yeah. Well, I drink it for protein shakes.
100 calories. I mean, you can have one of these before, during, or after your workout with hockeytraining.com. It pairs well with hockeytraining.com. But they've got a bunch of good flavors. They got variety packs coming out.
I drink it before the Olympics.
And they've got some platinum stuff coming out, too. Some incredible stuff, man.
They got good stuff.
We'll be getting into that as well.
But honestly, though, kicking on and just looking out over the water. I mean, if you got a little bit of money and you can afford, to be on the water, don't just, try it. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you. Yeah. It's such a relaxation.
BudLight.com.
Don't be like Andy and hire a guy.
Unquestionably good. And then they'll deliver it to your doorstep, too. You can order online as well. BudLight.com.
Seltzer.
Bud Light Seltzer, baby. All right. Brian Burke.
Yeah, let's go.
One of our favorites. And he brings it on episode number 71 right here on the Cam and Strick Podcast. So where are you?
At my desk at the CBC, Toronto.
Do you have your own wing of the building? Nobody comes near your office. What's your setup like there, Berkey?
I have a cubicle.
So what do they just call upon you? Do you have a set schedule? What do you exactly? How does that work?
Well, during this week, I'm on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 6 nights. And then I've got a usual weekly schedule of shows. I do 3 different shows here in Toronto on Sportsnet, different time slots. I do Calgary Sportsnet, Vancouver Sportsnet. I do a show with Ched, C-H-E-D in Edmonton, and I do NHL Network on Friday morning. So basically Monday, Tuesday, pretty light, and then during the off season, during the season, and then the Wednesdays and Saturday nights.
Listen, you've always been outspoken. Like, when you're managing whatever you're doing, you always know you're going to get the honest truth from Brian Burke. Like, working in TV, listen, I know how it can be, especially at the network level. Do they ever try to censor you, or can you be yourself at all times, Burkie?
Well, they told me the first day I was here I could say whatever I wanted on TV once. No, they haven't censored me at all. They've encouraged us to speak out on the social justice issues, so we've been able to do that. But I'm not a political person on the air. I view it. It's not a news show, and so I don't spend a lot of time on political topics at all. People ask me what do I think about this? I'm like, well, I vote in a secret ballot, so I don't need to tell you what I'm doing. But on this particular issue right now, of course, we've been very vocal because we have to be and we should be.
How many calls do you get from your friends in the business, Burkie? They say, okay, we don't like how you handled this, what you said about us there. Like, can anybody out there influence you? And is that in the back of your mind when you're talking about people that you've known forever?
No.
There you go.
Yeah, it is.
Just like that.
I mean, I haven't gotten a call like that, and I'll hang up on the first person that does. I mean, my view is I'm going to say what I think, and if people like it, great. And if they don't, too bad.
Listen, you've worked forever in the trenches, managing, being inside the game, and now you're on the other side working as an analyst. Do you ever miss the game, or does your current job give you your hockey fix that you need?
Well, I miss the game some days. I miss being around the guys, and some of the big games like this. You wish you were up in the press box in your management box, but and the draft I get itchy because I always like the draft. But in general, it's a lifestyle change for me. So I'm still in hockey, but I don't have to travel. I just got sick of the travel.
It's god awful. It's too much. That's what wears you out more than anything. What do you think about this whole bubble situation? I know, again, you are very outspoken on everything. What would you change anything? Is there anything drastic that you could sit down and put your thumb on, like, okay, this needs to go right now? Anything you could think of with this bubble situation?
No, to be honest, I mean, obviously we wish the virus would go away, but in terms of pulling this off, the NHL has been masterful. I mean, the whole concept and the testing and getting people here safely and no fans, and then they added, virtual noise, and it's been done magnificently from my view.
I know you weren't a believer early on. Like, you didn't think that hockey would return. And Cam and I thought the same thing, man. We didn't think it was going to happen either.
Not at all.
What made it happen, in your opinion?
Well, you and I and Cam were right. We couldn't finish the season. That's what I said. The season's over. What the NHL did, because they're a little smarter than Brian Burke and Andy Strickland and Cam Jansen, they said, we're just going to build out a little more runway. We don't have to award the cup in June, which was brilliant. And so they were able to, they'll be able, barring touchwood, barring a major setback, they'll be able to award the Stanley Cup and then hold the draft and then start planning for next year. So I think we were right. There's, when the story broke and they canceled games that day, I said, there's no way we'll finish the season. And we were right. If you kept the season the way it was, there's no way they could have finished it. But league very, very brilliantly said, well, let's think about this. We can build some highway out here and keep this going. And they did a great job.
What do you think about the officiating? A lot of weird calls and weird hits, and that was going to happen. But as a whole, what do you think of it?
Well, I think the officiating as a whole has been good. These guys are great guys. They're the best in the world. I felt early on, when the season starts, and you guys know this, when the season starts, they call a lot more than they do as the season goes along. And part of it is they're new. They've been off the ice for a few months, but part of it is they're trying to set a standard. But we've always raised the bar as to what constitutes a penalty in the playoffs. And I am maddened by some of these penalties, little ticky-tack stick fouls that are being whistled in the second round of the playoffs. That's when you let them play. Now, you don't put the whistle away. No one wants that. But you've got to raise the bar on what constitutes a foul that's severe enough to warrant a penalty. And for the most part, they've done that. They're just in the last couple of games, it's almost like someone from the league said you're letting it go too much. And like, I'll give you an example. You guys remember the other in game 3, I guess it was, Nick Ritchie got hit and gave a guy a little slash on the leg as he went away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Come on. To me, that's not a penalty in October in a typical season, but it's certainly not in April or May and in the second round of the playoffs.
I want to go back, Berkey. Listen, people know you on TV now. They know you as the GM, obviously, of the Leafs, and you had a long career winning a Stanley Cup in Anaheim. But you were in Providence. Now, listen, Lou Lamiorello's done our podcast. He doesn't do very many of those.
He did it, Berkey.
And Cam knows him well from his days in New Jersey. But he was your coach in college? Like, what was that like?
God.
Yeah, I played 4 years for Lou from 1973 to 1977. And it was real old school, really. Well, okay, step back. I walked on as a freshman, so I didn't get any money. And I won half my second year and full my last 2. So I owe the guy my college degree. He's the reason I went to law school, and I'll tell that story in a minute. But playing for him, and you know Cam because you played for him, his intensity permeates the team. The team adopts some urgency just from him. Very old school in how we played. Very old school team meals. We ate 5 hours before the game. We got steak, baked potato, green beans, and then toast. And you only could have 2 pats of butter. So you could butter your toast or you could butter your potato, but you couldn't butter them both. and they had a chef that stood there and counted them. And you could have 1 milk and 1 pop, or 2 pops, but not 2 milks. Because Lou thought dairy was bad on game days. But he was very progressive in other ways. Like, we stretched back then. We did comprehensive stretching, and that sounds like young people listen to me go, what's the big deal? Well, no one stretched back then. You went on the ice, took a couple laps, and practice started. So we did an off-ice stretching program, an on-ice stretching program. We did circuit training, which, again, everyone will say, big deal. Well, back then, a lot of teams, it was, throw as much weight on the bench press as you could. There wasn't a lot of cardio. Like, guys used training camp to get in shape, and Lou was way ahead of that. We circuit training, cardio. He did some rudimentary plyometric work. So very progressive, and we were treated like a pro team. Like, a guy came in from Bauer and fitted us all for skates. The guy came from Sherwood and got us all our patterns. And this is when most college teams were buying stuff right out of a store. So we were treated like a pro team. He kept his thumb on the pulse of the NHL and the AHL. So he was tight with the Bruins. He was tight with the Providence Reds, the American League team there. He would go watch them practice and incorporate some of their drills in. Their injured players would skate with us sometimes for the Reds. We thought that was really cool. These pro hockey players playing with us.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a great experience for me. It was great for me. He took a green Minnesota kid. That was my 6th year of organized hockey, my first year of college hockey. I didn't start playing until I was 13.
Really?
Wow.
Lou got mad at Cam, by the way, when he came on because Cam asked him what kind of player he was.
I fucked that up, Berkey. I know.
And now you're talking about him being a coach, but did you ever see him play or no?
No, but he was when he graduated. See, you could only play 3 years of college hockey until my first year. So Ronnie Wilson and I were classmates. He was the star. We played 4 years. We were the first class that was allowed to play 4 years. And I think the Ivy League switched the next year. So back then, Lou played only 3 years. You can only play 3 years varsity. Everyone had a freshman team. And Lou graduated, I think he was 8th or 9th in career scoring. He was a right winger, a good scorer, obviously a hard worker. Lou, he doesn't know anything else.
Yeah.
But he was a baseball star, too. He was a star on the baseball team.
The Cam and Strick Podcast is brought to you by CarShield. Nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and right off the bat, you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview. He wouldn't tell us.
He wouldn't. I know he actually got kind of mad about it, and it was like a very awkward silence for like.
He gets mad at Cam all the time.
Oh my god,
anyway.
it felt like an eternity. But I could picture him just like blocking shots with his face, kind of just a grinding out, get the puck out of the zone. But real quick, when you brought up the food situation and you said pops, I want everybody down here in middle of Missouri that sometimes listen to the podcast here in St. Louis. That's not beer. That's soda.
No.
Just so you know, okay? That's not beer.
Yeah, well,
you gotta hide that, right, Berkey?
I'm from Minnesota. It's soda and it's root beer.
Oh, root beer. That's right. That's right.
Did he weigh you in, by the way? Did he weigh you?
Every day.
Oh, yeah. And people bitched about that so much, but I'm like, God, did that keep you on your toes? And some nights you'd go out and in the morning you're like, oh my God, I'm not going to eat anything. I'm not, because honestly, it does keep a touch on what you were doing the night before and things like that. But it was a pain in the ass for sure.
Well, I never fought my weight much. Another thing, you mentioned shot blocking. That's another thing. And again, everyone says, yeah, big deal. Back then, shot blocking wasn't encouraged. It was like, let the goalie see everything. But Lou taught us to block shots. We were the preeminent team blocking shots in college hockey. And then everyone started to notice and started to do it. So, again, progressive. Lou was a progressive guy, just old school style. Liked it rough, as you know, shouldn't surprise you. But, no, it was the weigh-ins were daily. And I used to go up in the summer. Guys still do this, but it doesn't make any sense. But I'd go up to about 220 in the summer just because I felt I could throw the weights around better. And then I'd come back. I'd start cutting weight late in August. I played summer hockey back at home in the Twin Cities. And I'd start cutting weight, and I'd get to school about 210, 208. And then Lou would be like, you got to be under 200 by the start of, in 2 weeks. Oh, yeah. And so I'd have to get to 200, and it wasn't negotiable. Nothing's negotiable with Lou. So, it was a great 4 years. I loved my 4 years at Providence. I cried when I drove away. I said, I'll never have a better 4 years of my life. And the law school story. So I'm senior. I'm co-captain with Ronnie Wilson, going down to practice. I was a star student, and Lou's secretary, Alana Mooney, says, "Hey, coach wants to see you," because you didn't call him Lou, you call him coach. No way you call him Lou. And I still call him coach in front of other people, but one-on-one or in front of other people, I call him Lou because I don't want to look like a student again. But when I'm alone with Lou, I call him coach. So she says, "Coach wants to see us." So I'm walking in his office. I'm going, well, this isn't good. I mean, he doesn't want to see you to tell you good things. That's not how it works. And I never went out much in college. I was a straight A student. And so I'm like, well, one of the freshmen must have gotten a jam, and I'm the captain. He wants to talk to me. So I go in, and I sit down, and I say, "What's up, coach?" He goes, you're taking this exam. He said, "Your professor's telling me if you do well, you'll get into Harvard or Yale." He slides this piece of paper across the table. It's the LSAT, Law School Admissions Test, the exam to take the exam to see what your law boards
Cam's
are.
taken it before.
I've done that. I passed it, by the way, Barry.
So I looked at it, and I shoved it back. I said, "I have no interest in going to law school." And he shoved it back. He said, "You don't understand. That was not a bleeping request. You're taking the exam. You're writing the exam."
Wow.
So I said, "Coach, I don't want to go to law school." He said, "Just write the exam. Humor me." So he let me be late for practice to write this exam, and we were never late for practice at Providence College. You're late. I was late once, and I skated at 4 a.m, 9 days.
Oh God.
So I took the exam. I get it back. I scored in the 98th percentile of the world that year that took the exam. I get into Harvard. I get into Georgetown, all because Lou cared.
Wow.
And there's so many
amazing.
stories like that. Not that deep, but I mean, God Almighty, how he helps people.
But Berkey, listen, you're there in Toronto. Like, why would the Maple Leafs move on from him and bring in Kyle Dubas? Like, I mean, was that all Shanahan? Was it above Shanahan? And how's that worked out in your opinion?
Well, I think what happened was, and I don't know for sure, and I'm sure I'll get corrected if I'm not right, but I think what happened, I'm pretty sure this is right, is that the year before Lou left, he came in on a 3-year deal. And the year before he left, Kyle Dubas was asked to interview in Colorado for the GM job, and interviewed, and there was interest. And so Shanny, to keep Kyle on board, that's his guy, he said, "We'll promote you at the end of the year. Lou's contract is up." So I think it was nothing that Lou wasn't told about, or like he was on a 3-year deal, and that was the end of it. Obviously, he was out of work about 4 minutes, and he's doing a great job as he always does. But his influence here is still very clear.
What, you see how the success they're having in the island, which is real fun to watch. Everybody says they're a boring team. I don't think so. They're big. They're tough. They got some tough guys in the lineup. They can still mix in. But what makes Barry Trotz a great coach, though? I mean, the similar systems. I mean, really, there's only a little bit of difference between the four checks. Like, what does he do in your eyes differently than everybody else that makes him successful?
Well, to me, it's accountability. They know they can't run to Lou and complain about anything. It's total buy-in or you sit. And so that to me is the number one criteria if you're going to be successful, is a unified front office and coaching staff. And Cam, you've been in enough dressing rooms. You know darn well if the boss approves of everything that's going on, you had better toe that line. You had better play everything the way they want you to do it, or they'll find someone else who will. So that's number one. I think they have an organizational unification that's lacking elsewhere. And then they go after a certain type of player, a player who buys in, who plays hard. You're right. Their system isn't any different than a couple other teams that are still alive in the playoffs. They just do it better.
Yeah.
I mean,
discipline.
But from a Toronto standpoint, you said they still have, some of his influence is still there. Like, what do you mean specifically from that standpoint?
Well, some of the players that came in while he was here, and not the thing. I think where they got in trouble here was they haven't managed the salary cap well at all. It hasn't allowed for a proper roster construction, and they've got some really wonderful forwards, but they've got $40 million tied up in their top four guys, and Lou would never allow that to happen. And I think that's where his influence is missed. But the guys that came in on his watch, like Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, they're special players.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. What's it like managing in Toronto? I know you manage in other Canadian cities as well, but they take things to such a level. I mean, it's you can't compare it to Calgary and Vancouver, some other places that you've been involved in hockey operations. But working in Toronto specifically, Berkey, did you enjoy it, or did the scrutiny just really get to you pretty quickly?
Well, I enjoyed it thoroughly, except that we never won a bloody thing. I mean, that's hard on a GM, doesn't matter where you work. We didn't have any success. I mean, when I came in, I knew it would take a few years to turn over the roster. We had a lot of no trade, no moves, and overpaid guys that were entitled. And I hated my team when I got here. I hated them by the end of the year. I couldn't wait to – it's like my first year in Vancouver. I got there in 98, 99, and at the year-end party – and I always have a nice party for my players at the end of the year. The owner puts on a party, and just everyone say goodbye. And we did some good things, and here's what we have to look forward to. And I got up and took the microphone, and I said, "Everyone here, make sure you say goodbye to everyone else that's here, because half of you guys aren't coming back." And kind of ruined the party for everyone. What happens in Toronto is you've got an incredibly sophisticated fan base. These people know hockey and they love hockey. They're passionate about it, even though the building's not so noisy because it's very corporate. But what kills you here as a GM is the volume of the media. So it's not, in Calgary, we would win at home on a weeknight and we'd have maybe 30 people in the dressing room. And on a hockey night in Canada game on a Saturday night, maybe 40, 45. In Toronto, on a midweek game, there's 80 people in the room. 8-0. And sometimes on a big game like Montreal on a Saturday night and hockey night in Canada, there might be 100. And that's why I don't know if people realize that's why the NHL dressing rooms are so big. It's not. If we had our druthers, they'd be the old school where I could look across and make eye contact with Cam and say, "Hey, come on, we need more." Here now, I need a megaphone to yell at him to say something, and that's because accommodate the media after the game. And I was in Cologne, Germany, in the World Championships years ago, and at their practice rink, the team in Cologne, one wall of the dressing room is on rollers. So they have a nice tight room while they're getting dressed and chatting and having their coffee and lacing up their skates. And then after practice, the one wall rolls back about 12 feet and in come the media. That's what we should do here.
Yeah, you got to have places to stretch out and things like that. It's nice to have a big room, but you're right on that. Like you need to be intimate. You do.
So what grinds you here is the size, the volume of the media. Not that they're any more vicious than they are anywhere else, but they when you lose, there's 80 people picking up rocks, right?
Yeah.
And why did we lose? So 10 throw the rock at me, 10 throw the rock at Ronnie Wilson, 10 throw the rock at Phil Kessel, 10 throw it at Diamphanos, and so on. So there's overwhelming negativity when you're not doing well, but it's just volume. It's not that the writers are malicious or vicious or negative. There's a couple of real idiots, but for the most part, the media in Canada and the U.S., my view is, and I've said this all along, ever since I started back in '87 with teams, my view is that most of the people that work in the media are honest. They're hardworking. They want to get it right. They actually enjoy it when the team does well. It's just a handful of them that wreck it for everyone else.
Hey, let's talk about the new Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, yeah.
It's an easy drinking hard seltzer that comes in 4 delicious fruit flavors. Black cherry, strawberry, lemon lime, and Cam's favorite, mango.
Oh,
With
mango.
only 100 calories, 5% alcohol, and less than a gram of sugar, you might as well have a few tonight or this weekend. Go to budlight.com to buy Bud Light Seltzer online. Must be 21 years of age or older. Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good.
Yeah.
Now, back to the interview. I want to go back to 1998 when you traded Pavel Bure. Like, how ugly did that get behind the scenes, Berkey? Like, paint that picture for us.
Well, it didn't get ugly with me and Pavel because I got Pavel out of his contract with Red Army when he first came out. Like, I hired a law firm in Detroit. I was Pat Quinn's assistant GM. And Pavel got out of Russia, but we still had a valid contract with Red Army. And he signed it as a minor. So I researched it, and I found Michigan to be the best place to bring a lawsuit. They had several cases that said that a minor could not be held to a contract, even if his parent had countersigned as a parent, which is what happened with Pavel's contract. His dad, Valery, no, that's the brother. His dad, I'll think a minute.
No, he was my skating coach in Jersey. Vladimir. Bure.
Vladimir.
Yeah, great guy.
He was a former Olympic swimmer for Russia. And so we researched the law, and I found Michigan to be the best jurisdiction. So we hired a law firm in Michigan, and we filed a lawsuit to release him from his contract. Now, the Russians did not have to answer that. The state of Michigan's got no jurisdiction over them, so we were worried they just ignore it, and then it goes away. You can't just sue. I can't sue Cam in Washington State. There's got to be some connection with the jurisdiction. But the Russians answered. And so I spent 4 days in there negotiating Pavel's contract with his agent, Ron Salser, and 4 days in the courtroom during the day trying to get him out of his contract with Red Army. So we did. So Pavel and I were fine. In fact, when I had my first meeting with him, when he said he wasn't going to play, I said, Pavel, I drove you into Canada. We drove from Seattle. We got his visa in Seattle. I drove him to the rink in Vancouver. He was practicing his English the whole way up. He said, what's that? I said, that's a river. He said, river. And I said, no, river. And mountain and tree. He's practicing his English all the way up. So we were fine. We are to this day. I still get along well with Pavel. But it was the agent, Mike Gillis, that took this position. And that I just told him, I said, look, come in and play. It's much easier to trade a player who's playing. Come in and play, and if I haven't traded you by December 1st, then sit out. Then put a gun to my head. But if you're not playing, I'm not going to get a deal that makes sense till January, maybe February. That means my team plays short for all that time. And they said no. So I said, okay, be prepared to sit. Buy a good TV set. So we went till into January and finally able to make the trade with Florida. But it was not pleasant between me and Mike Gillis, the agent. But me and Pavel, we always got along.
That's crazy.
Andy does that to me too. River, Cam. River, mountain.
Trying to get him to learn.
Yeah, well.
But that's just crazy. And it was right when you took over, right? Vancouver. Like, how much did you enjoy managing in Vancouver out west there? I mean, you guys had some good teams. You couldn't just crack, and obviously get to the top, but you had some pretty good teams there.
Yeah, so I did 2 tours of duty in Vancouver, and I loved them both. I was there from 87 and 92, and then I went to Hartford. Then I came back in 98 when I was there till 04. Both times were a similar pattern. When I worked for Pat the first time, the team got better every year, and the city loves the Canucks. They love their team, and it's a beautiful city, and people are really nice. I loved it. But we rode a good wave both times. When I went there in 98, we were terrible. At the end of my first year there, I had fired Mike Keenan. We had 7,600 season tickets in a building that seated, whatever. Yeah, it was ugly. 18,000 or 19,000 people. We had 7,600 season tickets. So we built it back up. We got the West Coast Express line going with Naslin Bertuzzi and Brendan Morrison.
Yep.
We drafted the Twins.
Yep.
And we just kept getting better. So both times, Pat Quinn was a god in Vancouver, in all of Canada. But in Vancouver, Pat Quinn was a god. Like, we'd go out for supper. He never paid. Someone would pick up the tab. The restaurant, at the least, they'd send over like a $300 bottle of wine.
Oh,
like,
expensive restaurants too.
Yeah, Pat was a god. So the team got better. The building filled up. Everyone was excited, and we did the same thing the second time. So I enjoyed both tours of duty in Vancouver. It's a great city, great fans. I loved it there.
Was Mess there when you were there? I
had him for 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, you have 2 years. How was that? We had Gino Ojic on, and he talked about Mess and just kind of it just didn't fit. He would go. Gino said that
he took it further than that.
He took it a little further. He said that Mess was he had a lot of success, and he gets to Vancouver. He wants to do the same thing, and he's jumping over the boards when he's not supposed to. Things like that. You just couldn't control him really.
Well, they brought him in, and Keenan was there. That was the big key. They got rid of Trevor Linden, which it took us years to recover from that until I brought him back. Like, he was so popular. They did a couple things. First off, Americans bought the team, and people in Canada, there's a deep current of anti-Americanism, even though people deny it. So right away, John McCaw was their owner. They're like, well, he's American. Yeah. Then they fire Pat, and Pat was a god. And then they trade Trevor Linden, and Trevor was John the Apostle, right? He's right next to God. And it was like, so when I came in, there was a tremendous amount of resentment against the team. And it took a while to shed that. And I'm a dual, even though I'm American born and raised. I got my Canadian citizenship in 1992, right before I left Vancouver. So, and I've worked so much in Canada, I passed for Canadian anyway. So, but it took a while to shed all that. So with Mess's role in that, they pictured him as part of the reason Trevor was gone. And so it never worked for Mess in Vancouver. But I'm going to tell people a couple stories that will change their view on Mess. And the reason that I get lots of admiration for him. So he signed a deal with the Canucks. I guess it was 4 years, I want to say, with an option on a fifth year. So I get there. I had him for year 3. At the trade deadline, I called him in and I said, Mess, we're not going anywhere. Do you want me to trade you somewhere and try and win another cup? And he said, nope. Came here to do a job. Job's not done. I don't want to leave. And so I kept him. Now, he could have asked for a trade anywhere. He could have gone, taxes are very high in Canada. He could have asked for a trade somewhere else. And he stayed and stuck it out. Now, the next year, now we have an option after. So this is year 4, I want to say. It's year 2 with me. So we have he made $6 million a year. We had an option for 1 more year. And if we did not exercise the option, we had to give him $1 million. So I called him in at the deadline, 2 weeks before the deadline, because I knew I'd need time to move the money. If he wanted a trade, I said, Mess, trade deadline's coming up. What do you want me to do? He said, came here to do a job. Job's not finished. I'm not leaving. Like, he was loyal as a dog. And I said, Mess, I'm telling you right now, we're not picking up your option. We're going to give you the $1 million, but we are not picking up your option. Does that change your view? He said, nope. Came here to do a job. So I got lots of time for Mess. But Gino's right. It wasn't a fit. But that's not the player's fault when it's not a fit. It's never the player's fault. It just happens. I'll give you an example. Francois Beauchemin was a stud defenseman for me in Anaheim. We bring him to Toronto. Some guys can't handle a big stage. And he wasn't very good here. And we were able to make a good deal and move him back. Great guy. Wonderful young man. It wasn't his fault. Just not this stage. And we talk about that before we trade for a guy. Can he play in Canada? More specifically, can he play in Toronto where there's no privacy?
Why, though? Would he? Because he's a kind of is he a loud guy? He's not loud in the media. I mean, he just sits back. He's a stay-at-home. He'll hit you. Does the right thing. Like, why couldn't he handle that, you think?
Well, I think it's just we weren't very good, and the media were killing us, and I just think the negativity got to him. So we would talk about that in Vancouver, and we want to make a trade for a guy who played for a U.S. team. We're like, okay, he's playing in St. Louis. And it's not the rabid nature or passionate nature of the marketplace. Not St. Louis is great, but players have privacy in St. Louis, and they're not hounded by the media. They're not hounded by fans. They can hide. They can go, like the term, Cam. We call it pulling a shift. The players that go to a bar and sit and drink for 6 hours. Well, you can't do that in Toronto. you gotta get a private room somewhere.
Yeah.
If you're drinking for 6 hours in Toronto and you're pulling a shift, you're going to hear about it. You're going to read about it.
Well, it's the same way in St. Louis now, Berkey. I'm not going to lie.
They'll
You
know.
can't
They'll
do
know.
shit here.
They've got 1 or 2 spots
Oh,
they can
my
go and
God.
hide a little bit. But there's no question what you're
Yeah,
saying is right, man. You can certainly hide better here than you can in Toronto. It's not even close. People don't realize, though, Berkey, how many jobs you've had. I mean, they know of Brendan Shanahan and George Peros, Chris Pronger, these guys who have been involved with league discipline, but that was you back in the day. What was the most difficult player or case that you had to oversee when you suspended a player? And is it true you got death threats? Like even from the Alexei Kovalev situation when he tripped up Dale Hunter, did you get death threats from that?
Yeah, I did. The most difficult one was no question, no hesitation. It was Draper's hit, Claude Lemieux's hit on Chris Draper.
Wow.
And it was in the conference finals, and I was at the game. I was in a bad mood already because I went into the minor officials booth to talk. The head of the minor officials there is Don Adam, I think is his name. He's a former official that washed out. He's trying to become an NHL referee. Good guy. And while I was in his booth, he answered the phone. And it was a weird-looking phone. It didn't have any dial on it. It was just it's like a bat phone. And I said, "Who is that?" He said, "It was Mr. Lacroix." And I said, "He's not supposed to have direct contact with you during the game." So I ripped the phone out of the wall. I was already sour when this happened. So we were standing right above it. And I was with Dave Nolis, who was my right-hand man. And I said, we see the hit. It didn't look that bad in real time. It looked like they were changing, and they were both by the bench, and they got tangled up. And I'm like, is that a 2 or a 5? And we weren't even sure it was a 5. And then you look at it, it was a vicious hit. And I suspended him, and people don't think it was enough, but that was the hardest one. But yeah, I suspended Alexei Kovalev, and I got two death threats. One was from some drunk. It was, I didn't worry much about that. But the second one was very chilling. Guy with a really thick New York accent. He said, "Mr. Burke, I know where you live." This was my first year at the league, and I lived up on Lexington Avenue and around 64th and 63rd. And he said, "I know where you live up on Lexington." He said, "I know you go to work very early in the morning." So I used to walk to work at 5:30 in the morning. He said, "I know your path to work." He said, "I'm going to come up behind you and put a bullet in your head. You're not going to know what hit you."
Oh, my.
So that one I had to play for Gary. And Gary's like, "We're getting you a police detail. We're doing this." And Gary's such a good guy. And I said, "Gary, they've killed 4 presidents. If he wants to get me, he can get me."
He's going to get you.
So they made me change.
John Lennon style.
Yeah, they made me change my routine. So I had to come in a little later and walk a different path. And so I was careful for a couple of weeks, and nothing happened. I'm still here.
Wow.
This is me talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Hey, listen, and you were an agent too, and one of your clients was Brett Hull, man. I mean, I could only imagine being
Louise.
Brett Hull's agent. You got to have a story or two about that.
Well, my favorite Brett Hull story, he gets mad when I tell this story, but it's true. He was a rookie, and he was playing in Moncton, New Brunswick, and Terry Crisp was the coach. Great guy. But Terry Crisp didn't like American college kids. And Brett Hull got the biggest signing bonus that anyone had ever gotten to leave school. It was $100,000 back then. And so he was yelling and cursing at Brett, "You bonus baby, you college puke, you." And Brett was battling his weight. So I go up to Moncton to see him play, and Brett says to me, "You got to get me out of here." And I said, "Brett, I'm not calling anybody. You got to be 10 pounds overweight. Your hair's all over your head. Get a haircut. Terry Crisp's old school. Get a haircut. Lose 10 pounds. You go in and meet with Terry tomorrow and say, how do we work this out?" I said, "Brett, it's your job to fit in on a team. It's not the coach's job to fit you in." And Brett Hull, God bless him, got a haircut, went in and talked to Crispy. I think he had 14 goals for Christmas. He ended up with 48.
Wow.
And never played in the American League again. And so that's why I got time for Brett Hull. Not only is he a great guy,
yeah,
he did the necessary things to get to the show.
Cam and Strick Podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Yeah. Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview.
Well, the haircut was probably a mullet. I'm guessing, because that's what happened when he came to St. Louis. Sort of attracted all of us in St. Louis, I'll tell you that. I got a couple quick questions for you, unless you want to jump on the Brett Hall thing, Andy. I always wanted this. You've been in the league, you're a tough guy, you love the tough guys. Who was the baddest dude in the last 40 years, let's say, Berkey? I want to know who the baddest boy was that scared everybody, not just fighting, but hitting all together, the toughest guy you know. Go.
Derek Bugard.
Oh, God, yeah. I know. Thank you.
No hesitation. God rest his soul. Rest in peace, Boogie. But we were all terrified of him. And as a GM, I was terrified of him. And Todd Fedoruk fought him, and Boogie broke his cheek and really set him back. You guys remember the fight?
Oh yeah.
And Boogie let up as soon as he realized how he'd stung him. He let up. They had to put a titanium plate in Fedoruk's. Yeah, we call him Fridge.
Yep.
They had to put a titanium plate in Fridge's cheek, and so when we were playing Minnesota the next year, I think it was in the playoffs, I told George Peros, I said, you can't fight him. And George is like, Berkey, I can beat him. I said, you're not fighting him. He's out of everyone's weight class. He's 245. His arms are about 8 feet long. I said, you're not fighting him. And George was sour at me for weeks. He was still mad at me. But he said, well, what do I tell him? What do I tell him if he says, you want to go? And I got to say, tell him the truth. Tell him you're under orders. Because, Cam, the tough guys respect that.
Yep.
If you got a bad hand and you say I got a bad paw, okay. And so he said, I'm under orders. And Boogie said, then don't run around. In other words, I won't force a fight. Don't run the goalie. Don't be stupid. Don't run our stars, and we'll get along just fine.
And Georgie didn't do that anyway, really. He just kind of went up and down. He did his thing.
He's a good player.
And you also, did you call, in Anaheim, you call up Trevor Gillies, who I absolutely love to death. Boogie was crushing everything. I think he knocked out 13 guys in a row, Berkey, at the time. You got Trevor Gillies, who's in my top 10 toughest guys ever, and he just catches you. He strings you out. He was the scariest guy ever. Yeah. I think that roamed the ice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say, and you know how it works, Cam. If you fight 10 times, you're going to lose 1 or 2 just because that's how it works. You're going to catch one, you're going to eat one the wrong time, and then you can't recover. But that's a guy who would probably win 9 out of 10. And I think the story I remember, I might get this wrong. And Trevor was a great kid.
Awesome.
He lost that fight, and we sent him back down. And he got to Portland, and he went to Kevin Dineen, who was the coach, and he said, I'm not feeling very well. And Kevin Dineen called me. He said, this guy's eggs are scrambled here, and it's not right you sent him down. So I said, get him on a plane. We'll pay him his NHL salary until he's good to go. Our doctors didn't detect it. Our doctors were excellent, but he lied through the interview like everyone does or did. How are you feeling? Good. Mm-hmm. Any headache? Nope. Then he gets to Portland. He's feeling terrible, and we're like, get back here. We're not going to cheat you out of 1 day's pay.
Mm. And he recovered from it, and he had he went to the island and did his thing. He's a super guy. It just shows though, Derek Bugard. Oh my God Almighty, rest in peace. And a couple other questions real quick for you. I know we got to let you go here, Berkey, because you are a.
I got a couple more minutes, guys.
He told me 30 minutes.
30 minutes. I know.
30 minutes max. So I thought we'd hang up the phone and call you back so we can start the clock over here.
I know.
Berkey.
Once I heard your schedule, I'm like, good Lord Almighty, who's the biggest waste of talent, and who's the biggest underachiever you've dealt with?
Well, biggest waste of talent.
You know what I mean by that. They got it all.
I do. I had a few guys like that, but not for long. Usually get rid of them. There's no reason to shovel dirt on guys. The guy that didn't fit for us was a great player, but had lost interest was Sergei Fedorov. When I just couldn't get anything out of him, so we got rid of him. But he's a good guy. He just wasn't interested in being an Anaheim Duck on a poor team after playing in Detroit all those years. So we got rid of him my first year there, and then we went to the conference finals, and then the next year we won the cup.
That was an awesome team, by the way. You guys had some tough guys on that team.
I love watching that team.
God!
And we've got Niedermeyer coming up here in a couple days, and we see Pronger all the time. But you look at that team though, Berkey. Like, what stands out? Did you know going into the season that you had something special? Yeah. And was it once you made the Pronger trade when you felt that way?
Yeah, so which Niedermeyer, by the way?
We got Scotty.
I
see.
Good question.
Yeah.
Could have been either
Robbie
one.
was a big deal too.
Yep.
Damn right.
Yeah,
that team he was for sure.
And Robbie was like a horse that's walking out of the desert and smells water, and he starts to walk faster. Robbie cranked his game up in March and April. Like, he was a great playoff player. Really underrated in terms of what he could do in the playoffs. He was a great playoff player. You'd see him in February, he'd be okay. He was never a bad player. He was okay. But then March would come and you'd see he's like Sam Bennett in Calgary. It's one of these guys, the closer you get to the finish line, the harder he plays. So what happened was the first year they draft the late great Brian Murray drafted Getzlaf and Perry. These two excellent players.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take credit for. I wish I could. So they were rookies, and we sent them down early in the year because we didn't like the room. And I told Corey Perry and I told Ryan Getzlaf, I said, this is really unfair. You guys are NHL talents, but you cannot learn being a pro in this room. I got to get the room right, and then I'll bring you back. And they went down and tore up the American League. We made a couple changes in the room, brought them back, went to the conference finals. Now, that year, Edmonton lost to Carolina in the finals. We could have beaten Edmonton. We didn't figure it out till we were down 3-0. I think our players were happy to be where they were because no one thought we'd make the playoffs. So we brought in Travis Moen, we brought in Sean Thornton.
Oh, yeah.
It became a Brian Burke team, right? And Sean O'Donnell, who was really good for us on D, and never gets mentioned because of the other guys.
Pronger mentions him all the time, though. Prong's always
he was tough, too. I fought
Sean
him. He was
O'Donnell,
tough. Yeah.
He's tough, yeah. And we brought in Boscheman, came over with Marchand from Columbus. And so we had a really good team, and we lost to Edmonton in the conference finals. And a great story. Our farm team, Portland, was still playing, and we sent Getzlaf and Perry down to play in a Game 7 against Hershey. They each had 3 points, but we lost the game in overtime.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, so we had a good team, and we sat down at the end of the year. We signed Scott Niedermeyer as a free agent. Obviously, that made us better right away. And we had quality goaltending. We had Shigeru and Brizgalov. So we sat down at the end of the year, me, Bob Murray, Randy Carlisle, all the other coaches, and said, are we for real? Are we a legit contender, or do we just ride a hot goalie? And we're all like, no, we're legit. I said, what do we need? And they said, we need Chris Pronger. I'm like, well, that should be easy. No one else wants him.
Who?
Yeah. So they, and of course I had drafted Chris in Hartford, so I didn't have to tell me twice. So we go to the draft in Edmonton, or I forget where the draft was, but Edmonton went to 4 tables, and Scott Housen was the assistant GM. And he dropped off a trade proposal at 4 different tables. So I don't know who the other teams were. I know there were 4. So our proposal was first round pick, not that year, but the next year first round pick, because we're on the draft floor. We're not giving up our first round pick. It said first round pick, Joffrey Lupul and Ladislav Smid. Now Laddie Smid had played for us in Portland. He was a young Czech defenseman. Mm-hmm. He was going to be a really good player. He hurt his neck. That's the unfortunate thing. He had a neck injury that ended his career prematurely. But he was a really skilled guy, played hard, and a great kid. We loved him as a kid. Joffrey Lupul was our best forward that year in the playoffs, the year we went to the conference finals. Remember, we beat Colorado 4-0. He had 4 goals in the game. He was a stud. He's an Edmonton boy, right? Sherwood Park. So we're like, okay, we got Corey Perry. And we got Teemu. We can probably give up Lupul. We've got this guy, and we got another couple defensemen coming. We can probably give up Smid. We can give up. So I said yes, right on the floor. Took about 4 minutes. I handed it to Bob Murray, and Bob Murray's a big gambler too, right? He doesn't mind a big deal. He's like, let's do it. So I walked over to Edmonton's table. I said, you got a deal. So he went to do the deal with the league, and the league said, you can't do it because of your salary cap situation. We had what's called a tagging issue. We had to have a certain amount of money free on July 1st, and it wasn't free till July 1st, till the contracts expired. So we had to wait till July 1st. But I said, I'll do it. So they said, okay, we got a deal. So then I went to close the deal with Kevin Lowe, and Kevin Lowe said, I feel like I'm punching your ticket to the finals. And I said, I think you are. I said, tell you what, if we play in the finals, we'll give you another first-round pick. So that's how we made that deal.
Wow,
dude.
Andy Strickland and Cam Jansen here for you for GadgetBuyback.com.
Yeah.
Gadget Lab, they got a store here locally if you're in St. Louis, 5541 Telegraph Road. Here's the deal. You got an old phone, maybe a cracked tablet. Maybe it's perfect, but it's a little bit older. Turn it in right now. www.gadgetbuyback.com. Upgrade your devices, phones, computers, watches.
Anything.
Doesn't have to be Apple either. No. Get those tablets turned in. Again, www.gadgetbuyback.com, 877-772-8880. Now back to the interview.
Yeah.
Wow. You didn't.
Could they pick Yakupov off on that one?
But you could have gotten the deal without that, though, right? Or no?
I think Kevin would have kept his word, but probably not. I think he would have said, "We've been thinking about it." Like, no deal's a deal till the league registers it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. It wouldn't have been unkosher for him to say, we've thought about it. It's not enough. And I knew there were 6, 7, 8 other teams in there. Probably tell him, look, if you haven't done the deal with the league yet, it's not a deal. So in my mind, it was a reasonable. He didn't ask for a first. I offered a first. That's how badly we wanted him. And I think if I said I'll put in a second, might have done it, might not. But you're playing poker there. You got to make the right call. And I'm saying I'm going to give him a deal he has to accept.
Wow. There you go, the Chris Pronger story. Hey, before we let you go, listen, you've been around forever, as people know. So Don Cherry obviously was a huge name, the face of the NHL for a long time. He's been on the podcast. But what was it like for you, working at Sportsnet when he got fired? I mean, how uncomfortable was that for everybody? And everybody's been saying, Brian Burke is the perfect replacement for Don Cherry.
He is.
Do you like hearing that? Do you cringe when you hear that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Don Cherry's a great man. He's a good friend of mine. I mean, I still keep in touch with him. It was an unfortunate choice of words, put it that way. And in this climate, unfortunate choice of words can be difficult, as my dear friend Mike Milbury just found out. So I felt for Don. I think he's a great guy. I think he's been great for hockey. I still keep in touch with him. But I have to support what happened here, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I was flattered when people say you'd be the next Don Cherry. I was flattered because, Cam, not so much the last couple of years, but 15, 20 years ago. I remember when I was a rookie GM or a rookie assistant GM, 87, 88 in Vancouver working for Pat. And I was in a bar, I think it was called Senior Frogs. And it was down. It was down on
I seen that. I seen all the the spring breakers wear those shirts. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. This is the one that was in Vancouver, I think. Anyway, it might have been Monk Malloy's. Anyway, there's maybe 300 people in the bar on a Saturday night, and the coach's corner comes on, and the bartender started hollering at everyone to shut up, and they turned the volume up on all the TVs, and 300 people stood in absolute silence, just like you were at a funeral, and listened to Don Cherry. And I thought, man, this guy's he's a legend up here. So he was great for the game, great guy. But I certainly support what happened here. I have to.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I don't mean when I say I have to. I don't mean I have to because my bosses will be listening. Mm-hmm. I have to support what that was the wrong thing to say.
No, we get that, man. And I tell you what, being from Eureka, Missouri. The Rock'em Sock'em fight tapes, we didn't have NHL Network. We didn't know anything besides the Blues, but the Rock'em Sock'em tapes, he was even big in the hockey community back in the early '90s in St. Louis, and being on those fight tapes with Aaron Asham, it's just fucking awesome.
I'm telling you, I got to travel with him a couple times on Sportsnet, and you're traveling with a rock star. This guy can't take 3 steps. In an airport, you can't take 3 steps. People come up, Mr. Cherry, can I take a picture? Back it used to be autographs, now it's photos. And I don't think I've signed an autograph in 10 years. But with him, it was the same with Pat Quinn. The first time I flew anywhere with Pat Quinn back in '87. So I show up. We're flying. It's a Saturday. We're flying to Toronto to do some type of arbitration with the league, and my ex-wife had bought me these wide whale corduroys. You remember those?
Oh, God.
Cam has them on right now.
I mean, Berkey, not really, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So they were really nice, expensive dress pants, and I had on a button shirt and long sleeve, and I looked really good, I thought. So I show up at the airport, and Pat says, where do you think you're going? I said, I'm going to Toronto with you. He says, not dressed like a bum, you're not. He had a suit on a Sunday. We weren't even working. So I said, Pat, why would I wreck a suit? Sitting on it for 4 hours, 5 hours flying to Toronto. Why would I wreck a suit? He says, you fly with me, you wear a suit. I'll let it go this time. Oh. So I wore the suit ever since, trust me. But we're trying to go to the airport, and I finally gave up trying to go through airports with Pat Quinn. I would just go to the gate. And he had time for everyone. Same with Grape. Same with Don Cherry. He stops and talks to everyone, takes a picture. How's your family? Like, he almost missed flights. Like, they would be paging him sometimes. And he'd be the last guy on the plane every time. I said, why can't you walk past some of these people? He goes, they pay our salary, pal.
Can't do it. Yep. Andy has to deal with that with me all the time in St. Louis. Berkey, it is what it is.
Yeah, right.
I believe it. It's tough for guys like you.
Yeah, right. How about your son, Patrick Burke, Department of Player Safety? And be honest, do you get a heads up? You know what the suspension is for a guy before it's released. Like, does he hook you up with some intel there?
No. First off, when he took that job, we made an agreement that he's never going to talk shop with me till after it's over. Once they make their decision, and we both agreed on that in advance before he even took the job. And then now that I'm in the media, it's even more rigid. I don't text him or call him. I will ask him if they're looking at something, but not what I don't get a heads up or any kind of warning. And that's we've assured the league that that's the case too. But that's not my job here anyway. That's the insider's job. That's Elliot Friedman and Chris Johnson. They're the ones who like to snoop around.
Yeah, Andy does too, by the way. Trust me.
It's always
stay
fun.
out of it. That's his job.
But last thing from me. But didn't you have an issue with the way the league handled the Dennis Weidman suspension back when you were in Calgary? Weren't you with Calgary when he got suspended for the referee incident?
Yeah, I've had problems with the league on lots of stuff. I just do it behind closed doors. I mean, this player safety is such a difficult job. The difference between a legal hit and a 2-minute penalty can be an elbow up 1 inch that makes it a penalty. And if it's down 1 inch, it's not a penalty. And the referees have to make those rulings in real time on skates with big bodies all around them. They have such a tough job. And player safety is tough too, because the tightrope you walk, and this is where people are so stupid sometimes. They say, well, if they just gave everyone 10 games, it would stop. Yeah, and so would hitting. So these guys who play on the edge, like Cam, like Matthew Tkachuk. We want players who play on the edge.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The game needs that. Yep. The game needs that physicality. And so one thing I really give Gary Bettman great credit for is he's hired a hard hockey guy in that job every time. So it was me, then it was Coley, then it was Shanny, then it was Stefan Quintal, and then, to George Peros. These are all hard hockey guys that value hitting and value physicality. So the challenge is you got to punish the guys who cross the line because you don't want stupid stuff out there. Yeah. But you can't punish so severely that you eliminate contact. And that's a real difficult tightrope to walk. And so when the league suspended one of my guys, I would just say, okay, because I used to get in big arguments with guys and they tell me I was stupid. And then my rule in the media is plus or minus 1, I don't say a word. If I think Cam Jansen should have got 3 and they give him 4, it's good enough for me.
I probably should have got 4.
2, plus or minus 1. But if I think it's a 2 game and they give him 5, I love my son, but I'm saying something.
You got to throw him under the bus. Well, it's a similar situation. Pronger got suspended when you guys were in the final, didn't he? For the elbow on Dean McHammond. I mean, you could look at it a couple.
Dino took a couple elbows in his lifetime. Great guy, by the way.
Did you just take that one, or you had a problem with that one too?
No, we had to take our medicine on that one. Pronger clotheslined him right in the face with an elbow.
Jesus, Andy, no shit.
Well, hey,
so Chris Pronger got suspended for the 4th game of the Detroit series, and he got called for an elbow on Thomas Holmstrom. And that one really bothered me because he hit him. He's kind of rolling him up the boards, and Robbie Niedermeyer came in and hit him and pinned him, and that's when the contact occurred. Because Chris thinks he's just rolling him up the wall, and all of a sudden he stops dead, and Chris finishes the hit. So I was really mad at Coley about that one. It's like he gave him 1 game in the conference finals. I'm like, you should have to kill someone to get a game in the conference finals. Oh yeah. There should be a gurney, and so Holmstrom got like 9 stitches in his head. And this is where there's honor in the game. They killed us in that game. In the game where Chris got suspended, we got spanked. But they stitched Holmstrom up and put him back on the bench and played him, not pretending he was hurt, trying to get the star defenseman suspended. That's Detroit. They have honor. But then we play in the conference in the Stanley Cup Finals, and we're watching the game, and we see Dean McHammond sliding into the corner on semi-conscious, and I'm like, Pronger did something. I didn't see the hit, but it's got to be Pronger. And Pronger skated back to the bench. Chris did and said to our assistant coach, I just screwed up. So the league schedules a hearing. The only thing that pissed us off about that was in the same game, Andy McDonald took an elbow in the head from who is their tough guy? Chris, I love him.
Chris Neal?
Chris Neal.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He elbowed Andy McDonald in the head. It was, in my mind, the same hit. And I said, look, we got to take our medicine here. Dean McCammon got elbowed in the head. We got to take our medicine, but there should be 2 hearings. And so Bob Murray had Dean McCammon in Chicago. And we thought maybe they're faking the injury. So I said to Bob, you go down. You know how Cam, you have to walk past the visiting team room to go to the parking lot in Ottawa?
Oh, yeah.
So you come out of your dressing room in Ottawa, you got to walk right past the visitors room. So Bob Murray has a cup of coffee, waits for him. Dean McCammon comes out. They walk to the loading dock. They walk out in the parking lot. And I said to Bob, you make sure he's injured. You make sure they're not playing us here. And Dean stops and looks out at the parking lot. And Bob Murray says, Dean, what's the matter? He says, I can't remember what car I drove to here to practice today.
Jesus.
We're like, okay, he's hurt.
Oh my God, he got rocked a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Downey got him once. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No,
he was a little aloof anyway, though. Dean McCammon.
No, he was a great skater.
Yeah,
he was our captain in
oh, yeah.
Albany. Great. I mean, good Christian guy.
Yeah,
like,
he used to sing Christian songs.
I needed him around me, Andy,
plane,
at the time,
yeah.
just like a
You
Shane Doan.
did.
Just like a Shane Doan. Thank you for coming
Good
on,
stuff,
Berkey.
Berkey.
We could talk to you for hours. I know
right.
you went over your 30-minute deadline, and we appreciate
We'll
it.
send
my
you
man.
a bill. We'll send you a bill.
We watch everything. We watch you all the time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Right on, big
Take
boy.
care.
See you, Berkey.
Bye. That was Brian Burke, episode number 71. And we know you loved it, man. Hopefully you learned a little bit something new about Brian Burke, man. But he's entertaining. He's something hockey needs. We love having people who have personality.
Yeah.
More importantly, somebody with an opinion.
No shit.
Everybody wants to have the same opinion.
That-
What's your message to the young journalism students out there who want
Be
to get
yourself.
in? Yes.
Don't look on Twitter and sway with the wind on either side of anything. Don't just look. What's everybody? Let me lick your finger. See where the wind's swaying.
I am disgusted.
I am a robot. I am disgusted at what do you want? Oh yeah, that's what I'm disgusted. What else is going on? Yeah, I'm disgusted.
I am disgusted we're even here today.
I am disgusted of everything. Do your own fucking homework.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be you.
Don't be like everybody else. Yeah. No, it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. Have your own opinion. One way could be one thing. The other way, you could be in between, baby. You could have both sides of each story. There's 2 sides to everything.
I am sick to my stomach.
I'm sick to my. Why are we here?
I am a
because
robot.
you fucking work there, and if you don't work there, somebody's getting fucked because of you. Jesus.
Even Anson Carter. I mean, I want to say this and be careful, obviously, but Anson Carter says he'll never say ladies' tees again in reference to a guy shooting from the high slot up close to the goaltender.
So we can't say 65 and up tees, right? Old men's tees because they shoot.
No.
So why are the ladies' tees there then?
It's offensive.
But why are they closer then?
I don't know.
Well, there's a reason. There's got to be a reason. Are they equal to everything? Then why are they closer?
Well, he said he's not going to say. I don't think Catherine Tappan maybe she didn't like
Did
it.
she
I don't
care
know
about that?
I don't know because I don't want to put words in her mouth.
God.
I don't know the whole story.
I know.
Oh, I just saw the video.
Man,
Somebody sent it to me. So listen, man, you really can't say a whole lot.
Well, on there, you can say anything you want on our podcast. We don't want to offend anybody.
So I'm just telling you.
But I'm not gonna fucking tiptoe around. Like if I said ladies' tees and somebody tweeted at me like Cam, I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they called ladies' tees then? And they're 15 yards.
Like I would never think that you're saying that you're being offensive.
Never
to women. I would say you're just
golf needs to change.
I would just say because when you're playing golf, the ladies' tees are closer. That's the only reason why.
And when you're
used.
older too, that's why I like to get either a woman or a 65-year-old guy that's a stud on your golf foursome.
But you know what? We learn and we listen. And if people are offended by that,
hey, especially Catherine Temmon, she's a badass. I love her, by the way.
She is
a sweetheart,
no doubt.
And I don't want to offend her.
So if she's offended, if she doesn't like it,
but I'm not working with her.
We won't say it.
I'm not working. No.
Although we never say it anyway.
No, Andy, we'll say it. I'm not working with her.
Okay.
But if I was working with her, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you shot from the fucking ladies' tees, dude. That means you're close.
It's like the skills competition, like the hardest shot. It's kind of from the ladies' tees.
I know.
Don't say that.
I'm not. You said it.
I'm just telling you right now.
I didn't do anything.
All out in the open.
I didn't do anything.
Anson Carter said it on
I
national
said from
television.
the old men's tees.
So
fuck them. Anywho.
All right. Listen, be yourself, because
no shit.
Like, what if CarShield tried to be like everybody else? They wouldn't stand out. They wouldn't be as good as they are right now.
Exactly right. Dude.
So 800-857-2481, carshield.com. Mention the promo code CAM, and again, you'll save 10%. Get that protection today.
Yeah.
Talk about protection. Make sure you have a clean screen. Don't have a cracked screen. Don't have a cracked tablet. 877-772-8880 for more information. GadgetBuyback.com, GadgetLabMobile.com. They've got a storefront here in St. Louis and Oakville. If you want to check that out. And a big shout out to Pat Maroon, by the way, for
Fucking A.
Okay, you want to say something about that?
No, yeah, real quick. Patty Maroon.
Because of Oakville.
Patty Maroon's one of the only few hockey players that came out in support of a fallen officer. There's a ton of them out there. And this fallen officer went to Oakville High School. So did Patty. Not that everybody needs to do that, but just remember all you guys, real quick. All y'all professional athletes, all y'all. When you go to the games, who's around? When you go to events, who's around? All those city cops, they fucking look after you. They look after your fucking wife when she goes to the games. They look after your fucking family when you go to the games. If something bad happens, sometimes you could throw it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I'd stay away from it. But now, I think it's okay if some cop in your city that you're playing for does a good thing, because there's a fucking lot of good stuff that they do. You find it, you post it, and you acknowledge it. That's just my opinion. That's all.
All right, so Patty Maroon wrote something on a stick that he played with in a recent game playing for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 877-772-8880. So check out GadgetBuyback.com as well as GadgetLabMobile.com.
Yeah.
How about Bud Light Seltzer, baby?
Dude.
New flavors, man.
Yeah, we've been here like 4.
How's that cranberry?
It good. I'm going to give a little shout out real quick. Biz actually came out and put a little Bud Light Seltzer, and he mixed a little Pink Whitney.
Really?
And I'm like, I said that. I go, mix this stuff up with some shit. I'm gonna experiment.
I'm gonna experiment too.
I know. I'm gonna experiment when we go to Lake next weekend. Kate and I are going down there. It's gonna be like 70 degrees. The leaves are gonna be changing. Oh God! And I'm gonna take a Bud Light Seltzer and I'm gonna mix and match some things. And I'm gonna drink them. I'm gonna sip them. I'm gonna try different things. And I'm gonna post it. I'm going to tag Bud Light Seltzer in that, because get creative with it. It's good.
Yeah.
You can fucking make a badass cocktail.
Oh, dude, I'm with you, man.
Dude, yeah.
100%. We're going to come up with something
Yeah,
good
Biz
for
did a good
that.
job on that. I'm going to give him a shout out.
Big shout out to Biz Nasty.
Yeah.
Thanks for, entertaining us.
Yeah.
Also, mango, right?
Mango.
In addition
Mango.
to strawberry and black cherry, lemon lime, all the original flavors.
Mango. Take a picture, send it to us. If you're at the lake, you're on a boat, you're in your office, I don't give a shit. You got Bud Light Seltzer, you got a nice vehicle, you got a dually, you got a cracked phone, you got, what am I missing? You got hockey training, you're stick handling, you and your kids are stick handling in your garage, in your basement, you're toe dragging with that biscuit puck, hockey training, tag us in the Twitter, all that shit. We love to see that. You've been doing that. We'll respond to you. Yeah. And it just helps us out.
Love
guys,
the interaction from the listeners,
it,
man. You guys are great. You guys are great.
We love you all.
Hockeytraining.com, though, man. They can help you become not just a good player, not just a better player, but a great player.
Just how about a comfortable player?
Yeah.
How about just feel comfortable when you got the puck?
Where you'll fit in, dude.
So you could play like that dude that played till he was 95 years old
99.
and just passed 99. He passed away. He was doing hockey training. You didn't hear about that?
No, he was.
He was.
I don't know if he was doing it for like 99 years.
Tom Stillman needs to do it. Tom Stillman.
We made the
and Billy do it.
Hook up the Blues owner and the Cardinals owner.
Yeah. They both skate with us.
With hockeytraining.com, yes.
I know.
We will hook that up.
They think we're bullshitting on that. We're
not
bullshitting. We'll take a motherfucking picture.
Watch my game.
Oh my God.
Watch my game.
I go out of my way to set those two up. Mm-hmm. That is a legit thing that we do. It's so funny. That's why they're the best of the best, baby.
So check out hockeytrainer.com. Again, if you have a young little boy, a girls hockey.
Oh my God.
And especially with what's going on right now. For example, I told a bunch of kids because they can't skate for the next couple of weeks. One kid on the team got COVID. They're home. What are you going to do?
Go in your basement. Go in your garage. Tell your mom and dad, listen to me. Mom and dad, my garage has my knitting and fuck that. Throw that bullshit away. Put a goddamn net in there. Put some padding around and make room. My dad did that for me. He didn't even know what to do. And I figured it out. And I shot pucks. Maybe I broke a light and I broke a window. Who cares? Fix the damn thing. Set your kids up so they can succeed. And it doesn't cost you anything.
No.
Good Lord. I wish I could just hold a meeting. I want my mom and dad just to sit there and explain what they did. They had no clue on anything. They had no resources, and they figured it out. You guys can't do it.
They didn't even have hockeytraining.com.
They even know. And they still figured it out. So put your kids in a good situation.
Yeah.
Have it at your house so you don't have to go to my kid's going to a gym. Like, you don't even know what the fuck
I think I put on like 6 miles per hour on my shot. Within the last week.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it's up to 7 miles an hour?
Hockeytraining.com, baby. Be sure to check that out. Men's leaguers, hook yourself up. Don't embarrass yourself. And you can do that easily. That's a mango right there.
No, it's a grapefruit. Dude, you better get me out of here.
Hockeytraining.com. Bellman.com, pre-owned, used cars, whatever it is. I got the Cadillac, Buick, GMC on one side of the street. Other side, pretty easy. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Amazing inventory, new, used. Great service, great customer service. They're going to treat you right. You can send your wife out there.
They'll send you. It's like Cleopatra walking into fucking Bellman. Like they're going to fucking carry her in like she's a fucking queen, like a goddess.
What can I get you?
It's like, what do you want? Like, no, I want you to feed Kate fucking grapes in her mouth. That's what I want. I don't want swinging dicks going down there fucking say, come on this ride with me. No.
Oh,
no.
my God. And that happens.
Psychos. So one guy will like, come on in here, and then all of them jump in like a clown car, and who knows, they won't come back for 5 hours.
Yeah.
That happens, you know. That happens, you know.
Yeah.
Not at Bellman.
And
Bellman will carry them
Yes.
again. Here's fruit for you. They'll wave the thing so you're cooled off. Or they'll wrap a blanket around you if you're cold.
Well, that's the environment Dan Bellman's created over there. His son, by the way, is tweeting at us too, man. He's cool as shit, too.
Awesome.
Give him a shout out.
Guy.
Great
Fucking
hockey guys.
dude. Badass.
So, again, Bellman.com. Be sure to check that out. Cope24.com.
Uh-huh.
Our girl Renee.
Yeah.
Sick
We're
flow.
going to hook her up.
Sick flow.
We're going to hook her up.
Oh, we got something coming up very, very soon. We've got a great event that we want all our listeners to get involved in. You're going to be able to, bid on some amazing auction items and stuff like that. So
I gotta get motherfucking tan before this photo shoot.
You doing a spray tan?
No, I told you I don't do that shit. I'm going on the canoe because I don't have a boat because I got totaled back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go in the canoe. I'm gonna put some, I think like 7% sunscreen on off the bat with a little bit of oil because I want a little shine, Andy. I want to shine, baby.
Okay. Let it shine.
That fucking shine box.
Brian Burke shined on this edition of the Cam and Strick Podcast. Really appreciate him coming on and giving us some time and even staying overtime, by the way. Berkey. We knew you weren't staying for just
50
30
more interviews
minutes.
that day too, and he still stayed.
I know, man, but I love how he's hanging out in his cubicle. Always shows up. These guys who are general managers and work as executives, they understand what it means to work, and all of a sudden they go and take like a regular job, broadcasting, whatever, and they just bring that same work ethic to the table, man. So I love that. So we appreciate Brian Burke coming on with us on this edition, episode number 71 of the Cam and Strick Podcast.